My name is Jason Moyers. I'm currently a retired track and cross country coach. I coached 4 years at Cecina High School and then the past 25 years at Cathedral High School, mainly boys distance and boys cross country, mainly as an assistant coach for 22 years at Cathedral, and then the last 3 years, starting in 2021 and ending in 2023, I was the head boys cross country coach.
So how'd you get into coaching?
I got into coaching with one of my former coaches, Jim Knoll, who coached me at Cecina for for 3 years there. He asked me when I went to school at IUPUI if I would help him at Cecina during track season. And so I said yes and worked it around my school schedule, and we coached together until 2020 when he retired.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
Now, neither of us are from Indiana, so I'm curious. Where is Cecina?
So Cecina is in Indianapolis. It's over at like 16th and Emerson. It's on the east side of Indianapolis.
Okay. I didn't know if that was up north or something, and we're like missing out. Like,
So it's another Catholic school. That's my alma mater. That's where I ran track at.
okay. How'd you transition to Cathedral?
Jim Knoll decided he was going to leave Cecina as a teacher and went to Cathedral. And at that time, Mark Worrell was coaching track and cross country and asked him to be an assistant. And then Mark reached out to me and asked if I wanted to come and join as well.
Oh, nice. So you were a package deal.
Right. That's
It's sort of like that, yes. It did take me a while to say yes, just because of some of the things that I heard growing up on the east side about the cathedral of them. Everybody drives Mercedes Benz and
mhm.
all that kind of stuff. I'm like, do I really want to get in to that? And I thought about it for a while, and I was like, I can give it a try, and if it's not a good fit for me, then I can always go back.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. There's nothing wrong with that.
Nothing
We
at
all
all.
have those stories.
Look, yes, definitely, definitely. So coach, you had the being an athlete side and also the coaching, being able to coach track and cross country. What about the sport do you love?
I really just like that, like on the cross country side, well, and track side mainly, it's more of an individual sport. I mean, I know there's team champions and that kind of stuff, but you control yourself. You can do it all on your own. You're not necessarily needing another member to help you out for the most part.
Now, when you were coaching, like all coaches have their philosophy, and you being a distance coach, I know things may be a little bit different. So, what was your main or your primary philosophy that you kind of surrounded your program with?
We kind of family. We built the cross country program mainly at Cathedral around family. Everybody looked after each other. Pretty much, we just wanted everybody to get along as much as possible and as easy as possible as they could.
And how did you do that? Like, I know there's some, oftentimes on these teams, we'll have one or two just outstanding athletes. How did you manage that in terms of, because boys are different than girls. And so you have boys. I'm just trying to curious, like, how did you manage that? What was the atmosphere like when you had like your outstanding athletes?
A lot of times for me, I would concentrate more on not the superstars. I don't want to call them back of the Packers, but the slower group, mainly like the freshmen and sophomores. And Jim Knoll would do more of the seniors and juniors. But we would come together and do things. We would go bowling as a big group. We used to take trips every 3 years out to Lake Tahoe for a week in the summer for training, and we would run, of course, but we would whitewater raft and true rock climbing and things like that. The kids would get together on Fridays for pasta dinners at parents' houses, and a lot of them would just stay together as friends and just play their video games and whatever other things that they would come up with.
Oh, that Mercedes Benz parking lot, you can do those types of things, huh? Lake
We
Tahoe.
we tried to keep it as low as as low as possible, but it got to be the last several years we were there. It just got to be too much for us to ask a parent to pay for us to go out there.
Mhm.
Huh, okay.
But that's still dope and how you were able to cultivate those relationships and I mean being able to have teammates and just go for different pasta nights, get those carbs in before a big meet. Can you reflect or share with us a time where either the team or a specific athlete kind of exceeded your expectations? Like you knew they were going to be, pretty decent, especially when you talk about how you really honed in on your freshmen and sophomores, those who were, up and coming. So any success story you want to share where somebody just did above and beyond what was expected?
We had a couple of freshmen. One was Brandon Russell, and the other was Spencer Clapp. Both of them came in freshman year running around 21:30 for a 5K, but they worked their tails off. They believed in the program that we ran, and by the time they graduated, Brandon Russell was running like 15:50, and Spencer got
Wow.
down to a 16:01.
Wow. Yeah.
And then in track, I mean, they excelled very well in track.
Wow.
Where did they end up going?
Brandon went to Ohio State. He did not run. And then Spencer Clapp went down to IU and ran for about a year and a half and decided he was done running, burnout. I don't think he clicked very well with the coaching style down there at that time. No hard feelings for and the IU program, but
Mhm.
I just don't think it clicked.
Well, college is different. You go to college, and that workout is completely different than any high school you've ever dealt with. I remember I went to a track meet a couple weeks ago. I ran into one of my former athletes who I was trying to help her transition from high school to college, and the workouts we were going through, and she was like, "This is crazy." I was like, "No, this is college. This is how it goes." So he might have had that transition and just been like, "What? This is what we're
Right.
doing?" And yeah, it's a totally different story. So I do understand that. Now with you being, you said you did some of you said the back of the Packers, but you dealt with a lot of the newcomers, I would assume.
Correct.
How did you help them become competitors, so to speak? Like, how'd you help build them up and get them to the point where they're ready to compete on the next level?
We just sat down with all of the team and we set three goals. We set what we called an attainable goal, which is a super easy goal to attain. Then we did a complicated goal, and then we did like what we would call a lifetime goal, but it really wasn't lifetime. What do you want to achieve? What would be your high end goal for the year? One of my freshmen, now it'd be 4 years ago, his name is Elijah Poston. He came to the first day of cross country practice in basketball shorts, a t-shirt, and Air Jordan basketball shoes, and he could not run 500 meters without stopping.
Hmm.
Oh,
And I said, okay, this is a work in progress. So I don't run anymore. I do a lot of walking and bike riding. So I had a couple of the juniors go with him out on the path, and I talked to him about getting a pair of running shoes, and he did that. And he's a senior now, but last year as a junior, he ended up running a 18:45. And he was 23-minute, 24-minute guy once we finally got him used to running the mileage that we ran. But it took him, I would say, probably 2.5 weeks to at least run just a mile and a half without stopping.
with athletes, they're having to balance being a student athlete and also their academics. And I'm sure at Cathedral and even at Cecina, the academic side. So how did you help your athletes balance academics and being an athlete?
So what I preached was family first, academics, and then athletics. We were able to check grades whenever we wanted. So I could stay on top of them and say, hey, this grade isn't where it should be right now. Let me reach out to your teacher and let's see if we can do like a study hall after school, and then you can come to practice. Or if you need to miss practice, I can give you what we're doing and you can do it on your own. But your academics have to be at the standard. And what I did was I made it the standard of the parent, not the standard of the, I'd say AA. I said it has to be the standard of what your parent expects.
Mhm.
If your parent expects you to be a B student and you're sitting with a C minus, I'm going to side with your parent for you to stay after school and get help.
Now, outside of like that, with the grades, and I know that the the bonding trips to Lake Tahoe. How else did you all involve the parents in terms of the everyday processes of the team? What kind of role did they play?
We had a what we call a team mom. Sometimes it was a team dad. It started as a mom and it became a dad for a couple years and then a mom. They sent out an email asking for parents to sign up to bring snacks or drinks to meet. Also, parents started to host the pasta dinners. They no longer wanted to go to Fazoli's. They wanted to hang out at somebody's house. So we had them do that on their end. And other than that, they were pretty much we had a parent take pictures and they did slideshows and put the banquet together. But overall, as the team as practicing and things, the parents were pretty much left on their own and kind of out of the loop except where we were practicing and stuff.
Um, how did you keep your athletes coming back year after year? Even I know you mentioned the one athlete who came in his basketball shoes, and you all told him like of the appropriate running shoes. But how did you attract more new talent and then keep the athletes engaged to keep coming back year after year?
I think a lot of it was the success that we were having, the word of mouth of runners into the grade schools asking, talking to the seventh, eighth graders. But for the team, I think they like the team atmosphere. They like the family atmosphere. Fridays in the summer were Frisbee Fridays. They played ultimate Frisbee for about an hour, and then a lot of times we're at Broad Ripple Park, so they would go over to Broad Ripple and go have bagels together. Just small things like that. We would have some of the coaches would bring in watermelon on Wednesdays for after practice, and we also did chocolate milk and cookies and things like that after practice here and there.
You
Nice.
kept them snacks.
Yeah, we fed them.
Yeah. So now that you're retired and you don't miss it at all, what about when you think when your son's done playing, you'll come back?
Um, I will say that I don't necessarily miss I guess I would say the everyday coaching aspect. I miss being around the actual the athletes and the students. I haven't given it much thought if I would come back to coaching or not. It would probably have to be like an ideal situation. I do have all of my workouts and the program
Mhm.
that I use still in a box put away in the closet just in case that would happen to come around.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that sounds like a yes.
Exactly, because I'm thinking I have the box in the closet too. Well, Coach, we appreciate you joining us.
Yes.
Yeah,
Thank you so much.
You're
yeah,
welcome.
and we look forward to some big things happening around town, and we'll get a hold of you. Want you to be a
And
part of that.
see, and you're the first people that haven't asked about my most talented runner,
Well, who was your first most? Who was that?
Yeah.
Cole Hawker.
Cole Hawker was your runner.
Yes, he was.
Wow.
Oh wow.
Wow. You should have led with that, coach.
Yeah, you
No,
have to
that
let us. You have to tell us
no.
about that one. How was it? How was he like as a runner, as a
As
youngster?
I'll tell you, as a runner and an individual, freshman year, the majority of the coaches and us could not get more than 2 or 3 words out of him.
Oh,
By the end of his freshman year, I could get about 2 to 3 sentences out of him. But as it progressed, we could get more and more out of him talking to us and things. And now listening to him speak, it's like, why couldn't you have done that freshman year? I mean,
Well,
he has come a long way from his freshman year
Yeah,
with
he's
us.
an Olympic champion. That's a
Yeah,
huge
that's
deal.
a
Yes, he
big
is.
deal.
Yeah. So I didn't know he went to Cathedral.
Yes, he is a Cathedral graduate.
Oh, that's
Wow.
awesome. That's
Well, that's
awesome.
great. Well, and I see the shirt in the background.
Yeah, it's that one. Then I have another one. I have one of the ones that is only 327 that were made.
Wow.
Nice.
Um,
Yeah, you
so
holding that tight to the vest. You
I know.
definitely should
Yeah,
have.
you're supposed to
That's a
start
big
with that one.
deal.
Like,
no.
That's a big deal.
I just say that I'm just a small puzzle piece in his success.
Hey, that's great coaching when you know
yeah,
that says a lot about you. You were his you
right.
believed in all that he could achieve and you were his
Yeah.
biggest cheerleader for sure.
Nice.
Wow.
Huh.
That's
Man.
awesome.
Well, we learn something new every day.
Look, that's why he still has that closet full of stuff
Right.
because clearly
You
it
never know.
worked.
You never know when the next one's gonna come around.
Yeah, I think that might be a once in a lifetime runner there.
You never know. Lightning does strike
Eh,
twice.
You never
Wow.
know, but I
Yeah.
won't count it. I won't count on it.
All right. Well,
Wow.
Coach,
Well,
I
thank you so
appreciate
much,
you.
Coach.
You're welcome.
All right.
Yes, we'll
Thanks
talk
for
soon.
joining us.
All right.
All
All
right.
right. Bye.